ora. Welcome, Gemini. This is your reading for the full moon in Virgo that's occurring at this current time. We're coming in again with individual astro signs, astro readings, and for Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising, and Venus and Jupiter, if you so wish. More succinct readings, just because they are general readings. We just get to the point and it cuts out sort of just going on and on and on, right? So let's get into it, Gemini. Hope you're well. Hope you've been enjoying the last couple of weeks since the collective reading for that new moon in Aquarius. So let's see what is on your storyboard today for the full moon in Virgo. For Gemini, another mercurial creature. Okay, so we have pulled for you. Actually, these cards are face down, but as I speak, I'm pulling for you, Gemini. A rock, mineral, and crystal card that's face down. And we'll pull it up at the end, see if it pertains to the reading today. Now we're coming out here. I just want one more card. We've got some sort of adolescent kind of energies coming out. Some youthful energy, which does not surprise anyone when it comes to Gemini. Doesn't matter how old we are. This is youthful stuff. It's pretty fired up. We start with this Prince of Wands. A young learner, a learner's mind, not afraid to take risks, Gemini. Leaving things quite open is always a good thing because there are many offshoots. There are many options and offshoots with this prince. It's very fiery. It's very changeable in some ways. So it's interesting. We do go through and clarify always. We then have the Prince of Discs. So we've got a youthful element here with the fire. You know, that can be hot and cold, and sometimes we can't actually discern the difference between hot and cold, can we? Risk taker. We have the slow release maker at the same time. Now these could be personalities within you. They could be personalities in your own life, Gemini, that you deal with these people. But overall they are a kind of tracking the energy here. So we've got this beautiful Prince of Discs, the slow release of the, microbes and good stuff in the soil. It's doing its thing. It's churning itself over and over. It's releasing this and releasing that so that we get growth, so that there is a development, even though it's chipping away. Now, there might be something coming through to you, Gemini, if you have been, possibly in the creative world, in the creative fields, that you've been chipping away, working away. Oh, God, and it's just like, is there anything? Is there any success coming? Is there some personal satisfaction? Yes. But is it getting out there into the world in this physical form that others can appreciate also? Now, I would suggest for some of you out there, if this reading does resonate, that you will be getting something coming in. There are messages coming in. There's openings coming up, because we have the Eight of Wands, swiftness. This is about communication via the internet, via your own inner net, as they say. But messages coming through. You know, often in this card, this is from the Thoth deck, it's beautiful representation of the Eight of Wands. It's very electrical. It's very much electricity here. And very Sagittarian, your counterpart on the wheel. Maybe check out the Sagittarian reading. That was pretty full of sun, actually, and energy. As this reading is, it's been a process here, that trial and error, you know, taking risks, feeling that fire, and yet having to put it into practical, physical things that we're waiting for that growth, to see it popping up through the soil. And here we have a message saying, Gemini, directing us, telling us, opening things up for us, information coming through. So let us clarify. This is interesting. Information coming through. And we see in this card also the sort of arrows, you know, the speeding arrows, the electricity involved, the power involved, and this rainbow, you know, iris of the rainbows, that beautiful card, handmaiden to the gods. The path becomes quite clear. And of course it always does when we know what's going on. You know, when we have an idea, when we see results. When we see results, that's actually the key thing here. Let's look at the Prince of Wands for Gemini, for this full moon in Virgo. The Prince of Wands, we get, I'm going to get another card here. As I said, hot and cold. Sometimes we get burnt when we take risks. Three of Swords, memory of sorrow, memory of pain. Emphasis on memory here, because I think at the current time the past is sort of bleeding into our present and has been for a while. And of course we can't underestimate future selves bleeding into our present either, can we? If we want to look at it in a nice expansive way, excuse me. So we've got, I think we've pushed through something and released something here that for a lot of Geminis over the last while has been a struggle to release something, to shed something. I'm talking about future, you know, when I was talking about future selves, past selves bleeding into the present. This is information. We might not be that conscious of it. We get the Ten of Wands. This is about releasing a burden, and it's a burden of our sense of will, how we express ourselves. What is will? It's about how we action things, how we express ourselves. I'm just saying, Gemini, it's beginning to pay off, that the burdensome nature of releasing something which has passed its date, has passed. We don't need to carry such a weight anymore. You know, the efforts taken to release that and to continue on are about to pay off. That's just all I'm saying here. Let's look at the Prince of Discs, please. The Prince of Discs. Excuse me, I'm suddenly choking. It was an effort, though, wasn't it, to release a burden? You know, it can be. Always. Excuse me. Gemini. The Prince of Discs. Did I hold him up? Beautiful Prince. To clarify the Prince, the slow release, this wonderful fecund soil is a slow release of new life. To clarify it, we get the Lovers, which is you, which is your card, this balancing of dual nature, this integration of opposites, if that's at all possible, or a kind of synthesizing, a wonderful sacred sort of marriage of left brain, right brain. This is a wonderful thing, Gemini. Contracts with others, the choices we make, the commitments we make. As I say, past and future bleeding into the present. We have five of cups here. So, we can mourn those 3 spilt cups, but we've actually got 2 behind us. Now, the 2 of cups relates very closely to the Lovers, that reciprocal equality, giving, receiving, contracts, commitments. In the 5 of cups, it only takes a change in perspective, maybe an alteration in the way that we fertilize our garden, in knowing and intending what we want to give form to grow. And we're going to get some message from the universe or from our contacts, whatever, in our world, that are going to, or what's that? What do they say when you strike gold? Gemini, it's really good. Let's look at the 8 of Wands for Geminis. Can we clarify with the 8 of Wands? So that shifting perspective, shifting ways that we do what we do. So, the old, oh my God, where did that come from? How interesting. What was I going to say? Oh God, it's just gone in and out. It's gone in and out. This is quite a special one, special reading, Gemini. And also, I would say, check out the Sagittarian reading. So we're looking at the 8 of Wands, swiftness, new messages, information coming through, immediate. It clears the vista for us. It clears the path. Speaking of all these, the Lovers, that releasing a burden, doing things in a different way, the past bleeding into the present and the future also. Now, this is the future also, the immediate future. So to clarify that, we have the 10 of Cups, which is the ultimate, isn't it? Satisfaction, emotional satisfaction. If your creative life is and provides you with a huge level of kind of emotional satisfaction, there might be some good, as I said, paid, what is it when they say you've struck gold or pay dirt, or what is the terms? There's a whole lot, aren't there? The satiation of the emotional realm is within this 10 of Cups. Something to do with, it's pretty wild, because then after talking about, the huge importance of shifting one's perspective, tilling the soil in a different way, Gemini, that 2 of Cups, perspective, here we have it again. Same kind of deal with the Lovers, contracts, meeting, willingly meeting as equals. Commitments we make, having very clear intentions. It's all really marvellous. Now, let's get a Brian Froud, Pixie Fairy. As I said, I try to keep the trying to keep them quite succinct. And I'm just looking there at the time. It's gone on a bit, Gemini. But it's a really amazing reading. Anywho, Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairies, we're getting a really good understanding of the amount of dead skin that we've been exfoliating in a metaphorical sense off ourselves, Gemini, over the last couple of years. We've got the feline. This is about finishing unfinished business, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, because we know what they are. We know what that means to us individually. And it is about exfoliation. We got rid of the weight here in the sense of our will, in the sense of burden and obligation. Now we polish up. Imagine yourself as a shiny little coin. We polish up. We exfoliate. Again, we clean it all off because we're about to understand some things, to be conscious of certain things that have happened within the past. We don't need to know why they happened, but we're about to be infused with new messages coming in and a new way of doing what we do, and maybe seeing the value in that, Epona's wild daughter has ventured, when I'm speaking of the difficulty of shedding, whether it's past history, wounds, whatever, we are Epona's wild daughter when we go about that, because we have to go back down deep. And this is that. It's a really amazing reading. Now do check out, look, these cards are always shuffled over and over again very well before each reading. Sagittarius, your counterpart on the wheel, got citrine also, so I would suggest to have a look at that reading. Wealth, enhanced career prospects, self-esteem and manifestation. I think you see the time frame between what you activate and the idea of, activation at some point turns into something real, into form, I suppose. The time between the activation and coming into form has narrowed right down, Gemini, at this current time for you. Take advantage of that. On that note, hope you had got something from this. Take good care, Gemini. Carry that beautiful citrine in your mind's eye over the next week or so until the next new moon. On that note, ka kite, bye.